Hi, I'm Cosmin, the coach at Web Tennis 24. When my student, in this case Bianca, who again, she's my daughter, acting as a beginning player. So when Bianca comes here to help me with these lessons, she has no idea what she's going to go through. We are not even warming up. If you look on the court, actually we barely have any footprints, only because I just walked a little bit here, but we don't warm up. So everything you see is actually a lesson how we should do with a beginning player. Obviously we'll a little bit more talking because I want you to understand what I'm teaching my student. Without any more talking, let's go ahead. Bianca, join me please. So there's Bianca. Remember, when your student comes, smile and greet her, make her feel welcome. All right, so let's go ahead, Bianca. Today we have a special lesson. So far we learned the forehand, the backhand ground strokes, the serve, the return of serve, some footwork, and today it's time to learn how to hit the ball when we are closer to the net. So we'll start with the volley. All right. I'm sure you know about the volley, but I'm going to teach you the volley just like you. You are a beginning player learning it for the first time. For that, I would like you, Bianca, to go on the other side. And let's go ahead and put your racket by the net, just like I do. And I would like to see you across the net for me. I'll place the ball. Bianca, we'll start. By the way, what you'll see next are going to be some drills that introduce the player to the upcoming lesson, which is the volley. Bianca, let's just toss the ball back and forth, catch and toss back, all right? Feel free to smile and to look happy. I know it's early. I woke you up earlier than usual. We'll do that as we shuffle from here to the single sideline and back. Go. Here. And we shuffle, right? We toss and catch. We go back now. Very good. Obviously with a beginning player, they might drop the ball, would be more challenging. Hold on to this one. We'll do the same thing with two balls. Ready, B? Here we go. So toss and catch. So this is, whoop, we actually hit those balls in the air, catch. This is an exercise that will be good for our players. Go ahead. Will be good for our player as we learn the volley, because the volley, later on I will explain to my student, that is a catch, and this good hand-eye coordination is necessary. Next, Bianca, grab your racket and come over here. Join me on this side. All right, because we are going to learn the volley, Bianca, I have a special ball for you. It's a soft one and a little bit, I mean, way lighter than the regular boards that we've been using so far. Now, let me just say that the upcoming lesson, which is the volley, we'll have to learn how to do it with a continental or hammer grip. All right, so I might be using the word hammer grip more often because it's a lot easier. So therefore, I will teach my student to how can I say, control the ball using a hammer grip. Bianca, can you hold the racket with a hammer grip? We talked about that when we learned the serve. So the hand is basically on the edge of the racket, or we hold the racket as if we could hammer a nail with the edge of it. Holding this grip, Bianca, I would like you to bounce the ball up on the strings like this. So watch what I do, okay? Don't begin yet, because I want to explain that. If I would open my palm will be probably facing sideways to my left. You see that? I have a hammer grip. So this is something new for the player, which before was bouncing the ball, holding the racket like a frying pan or with a forehand grip. But this time we'll use a hammer grip. So go ahead and try that. This is more challenging for beginning players because bouncing the ball with a hammer grip is not something that comes very natural to them. But it's a good exercise to develop strength in their wrist and the forearm. All right, Bianca, how are you doing so far?
Good.
Very good. So far we did that kind of with the palm facing to the side. Now we want the palm to be facing kind of down, and we'll do the same thing, but this time, so let's call it like this. We have the knuckles pointing up, all right? So we hold the racket with a hammer grip, but the knuckles are pointing up, and let's go ahead and practice that. Again, this is an exercise that a beginning player might have a hard time with, but I would like you to encourage them to persevere and practice. You notice that the knuckles are up and she is holding the racket with a hammer grip. All right, very good, Bianca, you can stop. So this is one of the exercises that I recommend to warm up before you teach them the volley, because they need to get used to the hammer grip and control the ball. Now, the reason I use, how can I say, kids balls, by the way, these balls are oversized and they are way softer. I mean, any kid can squeeze them. And they are so much lighter, because if I would ask a beginning player, especially a child, to bounce the ball up holding the racket with a hammer grip, that not only it's hard on their wrist, they don't have so much strength, but bouncing a ball that is heavier would be even more challenging for them. So that's why I introduced these soft balls. Next, Bianca, I would like you to grab one of those cones. You see over there by the fence, there I have a bunch of yellow cones. Grab one of them. Again, all these exercises are warm-up and are meant to slowly introduce the student for what's coming next. Only one, Bia. I want to get number one? Okay.
Because it's a 1 pound.
Yes, those cones are numbered. Can you go around on the other side? You don't need your racket. Leave it by the net. Anywhere. Bianca, let me have this cone for a second. I would like you to hold the cone like this. All right, so with the opening towards me and the palm. So the cone and the palm, let me show this to the camera. The cone and the palm are facing, they will be facing me. Right, baby? Like this. Let me see if you got it. Excellent. Here's what I'm going to do next. I will toss some balls. Let's make it fun. I will toss some balls for you towards your shoulder, and I'd like you to try to catch them. Right? Yeah, just catch them in the cone. Let me see, can I do that? Show me the cone, just like I showed you. That's it. Catch. Very good. Let's see how many can you catch. Good. If he drops, that's okay. Whoop, I grabbed one of these. We don't need them. Ready? Catch. Good. Another one. Yeah, you can let it out. Let's catch 5 more. 1, 2, good. Feel free to step forward if you want. Okay, it's up to you. Here's a challenging one. Very good. So this develops good hand-eye coordination, which we'll need later on for volley. Good, and one more. Catch the ball in the cone. Excellent. All right, so this was just fun, a fun way to introduce our students to what's coming next, volleying. Good job, Bianca. Do you notice what you did? You caught the ball in the air, you didn't let it bounce. So far we were kind of used to just letting the ball bounce and swinging at it, but this time we just caught the ball. Very good. Join me on this side. Can you pick up some of those balls as you come over here? Let me put the cone back. All right. Why don't I come on the other side actually? Go, yeah, bring them over here in the basket. Take your racket. Bianca, let's go ahead and talk about, okay, today, like I said, we will be learning the volley. All right, what's a volley? A volley is a shot that we perform when we are closer to the net. So far, we learned the ground strokes, the forehand and backhand and the serve, which we hit mostly close to the baseline or behind the baseline. But if our opponent hits a short ball and we have to come up to hit it here, we are not going to have time to back up to hit our ground strokes. We have to come up closer to the net, and from here we get ready for volleys. So the volley is a shot that we hit closer to the net. Most of the time we will be inside of the inside of the service line. So we should be hitting our volleys inside of the service court. All right. Now, since we are so close, we are not going to let the ball bounce. We take the ball in the air. So a volley is when you take a ball in the air without letting it obviously bounce. Okay. Now, like I said earlier, in order to hit a volley, we are going to use a hammer or continental grip. All right. The reason we use a continental grip, let me come a little closer and show this to the camera, Bianca. The reason we use a continental grip or hammer is that when we are at the net, the distance between us and the opponent is shorter, so the ball comes a lot faster. We don't have too much time to take the racket back and swing. We don't have time to change grips. Therefore, we try to keep everything simple. So by using a hammer grip, we can hit a forehand and a backhand without having to deal with grip change. All right. So the advantages of hitting a volley with a hammer grip is that we don't have to change grip. So we are a lot quicker to get set. Also, like I said, because the ball comes faster, we don't have time to take the racket back, so there's going to be no backswing, there's going to be no follow through. I would like you to think of the volley as more like catching and pushing the ball. It's more about placing the ball where you want, and it's not a swing. Okay. Do you have any questions in regard to volleying?
No.
So far, it's clear what I said. So it's a ball that we take in the air. We use a continental grip, and right here we don't have the grip change because we have to react a lot faster.
Yeah, someone hit over your head.
If they hit over the head, we can back up and hit an overhead, or we can let it bounce and run around it. Those are more advanced shots. But today we just talk about the volley, which means we can catch the ball out in front. All right. So Bianca, in order to demonstrate how the volley works, I would like you to toss some balls for me. Can you stay over here? And I'm going to tell you what you do. So go ahead and use those balls. Bianca, what I would like you to do is grab one of those balls and just toss it underhand, more like here towards my racket. Can you do that? And I'm going to show you how to hit a volley, okay? You can bend your knees a little bit higher. Try to toss it like over my shoulder. Here we go. Okay, so that's how you hit a volley. Okay, so you see what I'm doing? Just take a few balls and just keep tossing them towards me. Okay, and at the same time, I'd like you to pay attention how I hit the volley. Do you see me swinging on the ball? Do I have any backswing? Do I follow through? Okay, now can you toss a few balls towards this side? I want to show you a backhand volley too, because we will be learning the backhand volley. Do you see what I'm doing? I'm catching the ball and I'm freezing. Okay, now you're tossing it over me. two more towards my racket. That's it. You see that? It's like an abbreviated motion. It is not a swing. Good. Now I'd like you to come and take my place without the racket. Place your racket just like I do. Good. Bianca, come over here to the net. Touch it with your belly. And make 2 steps back. 1, 2. Good. From there, Bianca, I'm going to toss some balls for you just like you did earlier. I would like you to just catch them with your hand. All right? Do you think you can do that? With your hand. Just catch the ball. Good. Now, I don't expect it to stay still, all right? Feel free to move if you want to catch it, okay? So you do not stay still in tennis. Go. That's it. Keep trying, okay? We don't want to catch like, if your palm is up, you can't catch, it's going to roll. We want the palm like that, all right? So, by the way, for those who are watching, I want you to pay attention to what I'm going to explain to Bianca. Bianca, as you wait for the ball, I would like you I would like your palm to be facing forward, facing the incoming ball, and the fingers pointing up. All right. So we don't want it like that. We don't want the palm up like that because how can I say, the ball will roll. We want to catch the ball with the fingers, not straight up, not straight to the side, kind of like 45 degrees angle. So between up and to the side, that will be 45 degrees. Okay. So I would like you to catch the ball like that, out in front of you, not behind you. We want to catch the ball as early as we can, all right? So fingers up and spread the fingers. Bianca, ready? Let me see that. So feel free to move. That's it. Get rid of it. You can toss it back or behind you. Move. Move. I would like to see you moving. Here, go get it. Get it, good, okay? So I'm trying to teach my student that in tennis we don't sit. We don't stand. We have to move, okay? This time I'll toss it to you. Good. Here. Good. Couple more times. Very good. And catch. Good job. All right, so Bianca, I would like you to understand that the volley is like catching the ball with your hand, but instead we have a bigger hand, which is your racket face. Next, I would like you to do the same thing. Take your racket. Take your racket from there. Come back over here. again, about 2 steps away from the net. Come close to the net and make 2 steps. 1, 2.
Yeah, but I saw my footprints where I was.
Okay, so you have footprints over there. Bianca, here's what we do. We'll try to get used to catching the ball, having a hammer grip. Now, because if I'm going to ask my beginner student to hold the racket at the bottom, that's going to be a little bit harder for her. Therefore, slowly I want her to develop some strength in her wrist and to get used to volleying eventually with a hammer grip. So for that, Bianca, by the way, before we move on, the reason we don't use a forehand grip when we volley, first of all, like I said, if we use the forehand grip here and then a backhand, when the ball comes to the backhand, we have to change grips. So because the net, we don't have so much time to change grips, we want to use only one grip. But not only that, if we'd be using a forehand grip, you see my racket face is kind of facing forward, and the ball that comes into my strings will tend to go down. So the gravity will pull it down, and especially the racket angle will pretty much send the ball into the net. By holding the racket with a hammer grip, the racket face is going to be slightly open. Let me go ahead and show this to you and to the camera. So you see that? Okay, here's the difference, Bianca. This is my racket face with a forehand grip. You see, kind of pointing forward, and this is my racket face slightly open if I'm holding it with a hammer grip. So we want on the volley when the ball meets the racket the racket face to be slightly open, which pops the ball up a bit. Later on will help us to create slice, okay, or underspin. But don't worry about that, we'll talk about that later. So Bianca, I would like you to hold the racket by the neck, as high as you can by the neck, as you feel comfortable, okay? So basically is how can I say, where the handle and the neck meet. So we have a hammer grip, right? Can you get a hammer grip like this, like you pretending you're hammering a nail? Good. Now put it to the side just like you did earlier. You remember when I asked you to catch the ball, you had your hand pointing forward. So now instead of your hand, we have your racket. So we have your racket as your hand, slightly open. The tip of your racket is not pointing, it's not pointing straight up, it's not pointing to the side, it's in between. All right, so think about like 45-degree angle.
You have a bug on your face.
I have a bug on my face where? Here?
Okay, it flew away.
Okay, thank you.
Flying on your hat now.
Okay, that's okay if it stays on my head. So we have the racket acting as our hand. You're looking at the bug, right? Good. Do we want the racket facing forward, Bianca? Let me see if you paid attention.
Yeah.
No, slightly open. You're so focused on that bug, you didn't pay attention to what I said. So we have hammer grip and the racket slightly open, okay? If we had the forehand grip, the racket should be facing forward, right? But now since we have a hammer grip, the racket is slightly open. Now from this position, Bianca, I'll toss some balls. I want you to just catch them and pop them over the net. Do you notice that I'm using the term catch and not swing? All right, so when we volley, here, Bianca, do you see the bug?
It's.
Okay, flew away. Yeah, Bianca, I'll toss some balls, catch them, and see if you can pop them over the net. Very good, okay? Good. Good. So you see, I'm telling my student actually she can move. I want her to not stay still. Couple more. One more time, just catch, don't swing, don't swing. I know you can volley, but just listen to what I'm asking, okay? So I want you to act like a beginning player. Now, one thing that, let me explain this to the camera. One thing that people and kids and whoever learns to volley, they have a tendency to kind of flip their racket and swing down. For that, we have a great drill in a few minutes. But right now, just remind your student to open the racket and have the ball kind of pop up off of their strings. All right, Bianca, a few more. Hold the racket up. Here we go. Slightly open and make the ball go a little bit up from there. That's it. Pop it. No, don't push it. Don't push it. Just catch it. Just catch it. Right now, I don't want you to. That's it. That's it. Because people will be tempted to swing. Very good. Now, Bianca, I would like you to slide your hand down to the top of the grip. Still holding it with a hammer grip. Okay, same thing, racket slightly open. As you see the ball coming, just pop it over the net, gentle. Catch and push, here. Catch and push, very good. If you see your student hitting the ball down, just ask them to pop the ball, to push it, to make it go up. Just catch it we are still not swinging, right? Bianca, great job so far. Let's go ahead, since you're doing so well, we'll slide the hand down to the bottom of the grip. By the way, with your student, you will not go through this so fast. Practice a few more. Just practice 20, 30, 40 repetitions until you see that your student gets comfortable. And also very important, this is something that I haven't mentioned, but Bianca, pay attention to. When we volley, we want to lock the wrist, okay? Because players in the beginning will have a tendency to let their wrist collapse and just volley like that. Okay, so you see this especially with kids that don't have a good control of their forearm and wrist, and they will drop the racket from the wrist. Because of that, when I teach the volley, I ask my students to lock the wrist but still keep a relaxed grip. All right, so this might sound a little bit confusing, but my grip on the racket, so I'm holding the racket lightly, but the wrist is locked. I do not want to let it collapse like that. Because of that, I would like to have more or less a 90-degree angle between the forearm and the racket, okay? So even if later on they will be hitting a ball that is low, okay? Even if they drop the racket, okay, I still want the wrist locked and the racket and the forearm to make a 90-degree angle, all right? So this is something that we have to remind our students to lock the wrist, but still keep a relaxed grip. Bianca, sideways, pretend, get ready to catch the ball. We have a 90-degree angle over there between the racket and the grip, and the racket is slightly open, right? Kind of pointing towards the top of the fence over there. I'll toss the ball, you just catch it and bump it over the net. Here, Bianca, nice and easy, feel free to move, good. So we want the ball to go up, okay? We don't send it down, kind of we want to make it bump up, good. So I want my student to learn to make contact with the ball with the racket face slightly open. Excellent. So we are learning how to catch the ball and just push it gently. All right, good job. To give our student a little break and not have the wrist sore, because it can be tiring for a beginning player, we'll stop right now. We'll take a few minutes break and we'll come back and we'll continue. Good job so far, Bianca. So far we taught our student how to catch the ball in the air, and especially to do that with a continental grip on the forehand side. Next, we'll move on to the backhand, because we want to teach our student that the same grip applies to the forehand and the backhand, and pretty much we have the same mechanics. So I want them to learn the idea of catching the ball using a hammer grip, which can be challenging for beginning players, but with practice they will understand and do better and better. All right, one thing that I would like you to pay attention as a coach or a parent, make sure you always emphasize that when volleying, the wrist stays locked, but the grip is relaxed. Keep the 90-degree angle between the forearm and the racket, and always catch the ball with the tip of the racket up, all right? So not straight up, more like 45 degrees angle. So that will be on the backhand side. On the forehand, the same thing. We have no backswing, we have no follow through. Right now we are at the stage where we are teaching our students just to catch the ball. Later on we'll talk about the follow through, or I mean the abbreviated whatever we have, and the backswing. Okay, Bianca, let's go ahead and continue. I would like you to join me here. Still stay about 2 steps away from the net, Bianca. So take up a position where you make 2 steps. Oh, there you go. You have your line over here. Bianca, so far we practice forehand, catching the ball using a hammer grip. Next, we'll do the same thing on the backhand side. By the way, as far as stance, how the body, how the feet should be positioned, I have not talked about that. Right now, let's just focus on catching the ball, holding the racket with a hammer grip. Bianca, I would like you to imagine that this time you'll catch the ball with the back of your palm. Can you do what I do? Kind of like that, okay? Now, go ahead and hold the racket, hammer grip, and imagine that the racket, just like you did with the forehand earlier, now this is the back of your palm. So you want to catch the ball with the racket, okay, like this. Now here's something, Bianca did something very interesting, and this happens. I'm so glad she did that. Because
what?
Just wait for me. She did something interesting which we have to pay attention and correct. When she was about or demonstrating catching, she elevated the elbow. Okay, this is a mistake that you have to pay attention. Okay, we don't want the players to elevate the elbow, to lift the elbow, because when they do that, you see what happens? The racket head drops. We don't want that. Because of that, Bianca, you didn't do that, but actually I forgot. I wanted to talk about this, but I'm so glad you did that. In order to avoid elevating the elbow and dropping the racket head, I have a great drill for Bianca. Bianca, bring me one of those balls, one of those cushy balls. A little faster, please. Bianca, I would like you to volley, holding this ball under your how can I say, between the elbow or between your upper arm and the body. I'm going to toss some balls for you, and you just catch them like that, okay? By the way, this can happen when they volley, when beginning players volley, they can raise the elbow, and because of that, look what happens. The racket points down, and it sends the ball into the net. So for that, I have this drill. Hold the ball between your upper arm, right over there. In this way, the elbow stays tucked in. All right, so we don't want the elbow to raise, because that sends the ball into the net. So holding that ball over there, I would like you to practice catching the ball just like we did earlier. So in this way, the racket is not going to flip forward unless she does it on purpose. Here we go. Open your racket. Very good. Good job. Okay, now go ahead and hold on to that ball. Take the ball away with your non-dominant hand, and I would like you to raise your elbow when you do that. Actually, you know what? Let's not do that, because we do not want to bend to create bad habits. But I would like you to put that ball under your arm again, and turn sideways. And let's go back to trying to catch the ball with the back of the palm, which is extended by your racket. So imagine this is the back of your palm. Now, when you ask them to catch the ball, make sure they don't take the racket back. If there was a line that goes in front of their foot, the racket should be in front of that line. So the catching the ball should be done in front of you. Again, we have a 90-degree angle, racket slightly open, racket face slightly open. And because this is not something that some kids or beginning players are used to, they will have a tendency to drop the wrist. Can you cock the wrist, bring the racket up a little bit? Perfect. Here you go. Catch the ball. Good. And push it a little bit. As you catch it, push it, but that's it, okay? Because if they just catch it, the ball will barely go over the net. Very good. Actually, in fact, Bianca, I put your racket in your hand too low. Let's go ahead and practice this one, okay? So by the way, I kind of forgot, but with beginning players, you start from the neck all the way down, okay? So the neck of the racket. So hold the racket with hammer grip, but by the neck. So let's go ahead and practice the same thing that we did earlier. Catch the ball and push it a little bit over. Good. Feel free to reach forward, all right? So as you see the ball coming, kind of push it a little bit. Your racket is slightly open as you push it. So you see what I'm doing right now? I'm having my student hold that ball under her arm. Because of that, she's not going to lift the elbow, and the racket head stays up. Couple more, Bianca. Push. That's okay. Here you go. Push the ball. That's it. Okay, now go ahead and slide your hand down to the top of the grip. Good. Do a few more. Hold the racket further in front. Here we go. Catch and push. Very good. So you see I'm using these keywords, catch and push. So I'm tossing the ball basically on her racket, but you see what she did? She has a tendency to flip it, okay? That's another thing that we have to fix with practice. Go ahead and slide it down, slide your hand down. I come over here, I just remind my student to cock the wrist, to have the 90-degree angle, racket slightly open. Bianca, as I toss the ball, I want you to catch and push it. That's it. Still keeping the elbow down, okay? It's very important. We teach our students to keep the elbow down, otherwise they will flip the racket and send the ball into the net. Very good. And a couple more. You're doing great. So at this stage, you see that she's learning how to hold the racket up and still keep the 90-degree angle. Even Bianca, who has been playing tennis for a while, she has a tendency to let the racket collapse, all right? So we have to remind her to keep a 90-degree angle and lock the wrist. Good job, Bianca. So use this ball under the arm to control, to keep the elbow down and tucked in. All right, if they raise the elbow, then the racket drops, and we do not want that. Bianca, why don't we use that fence over there? Can you go over there to the fence, please? Over there to that fence. I'll come over. This next exercise is to teach our student to not take the racket back, not swing, and just catch the ball using a hammer grip. Bianca, I would like you to stay down here. Don't get up. Actually, you know what? If you fit over here, that's good too. My back is leaning. I'm leaning against this fence. I have a hammer grip. I will be tossing balls, one to your forehand, one to your back, and I want you to catch the ball. Can you make one more step over there? Very good. I would like you to catch the ball and pop it up like this. Okay, then I'll switch over here to the back, and again I'll toss the ball here, just pop it up. So you'll be like moving side to side and just catching and popping the ball. I want you to get used to holding the racket with a hammer grip and not taking it back. Okay, so if you touch the fence, that means your racket went too far back. So we are teaching no backswing and just catching the ball side to side using a hammer grip. You think you can do that? Let me see how you do that. So hold the racket right there. Good. Catch the ball. And then backhand. That's it. Okay, so we do not want to take the racket back, so there's no backswing. This is something that I would like you to remember later on. Okay, so Bianca, here's the ball coming. One to your forehand. Can you show me the racket? Good. Catch it. Good. Backhand. Switch the backhand. So I'm basically tossing the ball towards her racket. Quite easy stuff for her. All she has to do is catch it. But in this way, she develops strength in her wrist and gets used to catching the ball and pushing it gently using
I put it in the basket.
You did? Okay, you can try that. Using a hammer grip. So she gets used to the hammer grip. One more, Bianca. Very good. So come over here. Next exercise. So these all exercises have a progression purpose to teach our student. Bibi, can you bring me a chair? Okay, let's put this chair just behind the line you made, so it's like 2 steps behind, 2 steps away from the net. This is another creative drill. Go ahead and sit down. Your favorite activity, sitting down. Actually, you know what? Let me sit down for a few seconds. I want to explain what we do. So the reason I have a chair over here for my student is for her to understand that when we volley, even though we are the net, players, we have a tendency to hit the ball down, okay? Because they think from here they can just push it anywhere down. It's so easy. They don't have to worry about making the arc or the rainbow that we were talking about when we were at the baseline. So players, we have a tendency to swing down. But for them to learn to open the racket face and pop the ball, when the ball comes, they have to get used to making contact with the racket slightly open, and the ball kind of pops a little bit upward. And later on we learn how to create slice having the racket face open. But for now, I just want them to learn to pop the ball up and not push it down, because they will have the tendency to flip the racket and hit it down. No, we want them to learn to push forward and slightly down, having the racket face open. So this is what this drill is going to teach us, to not swing down and swing forward and actually make the ball pop up a little bit. So on both forehand and backhand. Bianca, for that one, because I want you to get used to hitting both forehand and backhand with a hammer grip, I'm going to have your your non-dominant hand behind you, because in this way you learn that you can hit forehand and backhand without changing grips. If you would have the hand on, your non-dominant hand on the racket, you will be tempted to change grips. But with your hand behind you, you're going to learn to hit forehand and backhand using only one grip, which is the hammer. All right, go ahead and sit down.
Yay.
Yay. Bianca, I will toss some balls for you. Practice forehand and backhand using only one grip. Your non-dominant hand, left one behind you. Show me the racket in the forehand. Your racket is behind you. We don't want it behind you. That's it. Okay, here we go. Pop the ball. Good. Backhand. Show me a backhand. Whoop, that was a bad toss for me. Try again. Good. So pop it up. Push it a little bit. Oh, you just hurt me. Ready? Push it a little bit. As you catch it, push it. Very good. So you're developing strength in the wrist and learning that the volley is being done using a hammer. Can you push the ball? You are kind of absorbing it. You are catching it.
Yeah,
but as you catch it, I want you to push a little bit. But don't take racket behind you. What is it?
Well, it's hard to turn.
It's hard to turn, but you're twisting your hand so much. I didn't ask you to do. Just put it over there, down. Make yourself relaxed, okay? Don't hurt yourself.
I am good like this.
All right, so let me see that. Good. Now, as you see the ball coming, try to push it a bit. Here. Good. Forehand. Good. Backhand. So right now she's learning to hit forehand and backhand using one grip without changing it. Okay, can you push that over a little bit? I know you can. Good. Excellent. Now get up. You can relax and take that chair back in its place as fast as you can while I explain to the camera what we did. So just like I said, while Bianca was practicing, she was sitting down and learning to hit the forehand and the backhand, pop the ball up with the racket face open. So I want my student to get used to hitting the volley with the racket face slightly open, which is going to help us later on to create slice and develop some strength in her wrist, and obviously understand how to volley only using the hammer grip without changing the grips. Good job, Bianca. Same thing this time. I would like you to take a position a little. Why don't we start from here, Bianca? From the net. Make a step away from the net. Let's do a little exercise. Bianca, I would like you to catch the ball. If you send the ball over the net, make a step back. Let's see how far can we go before you hit the ball in the net.
They're over there.
Well, that's quite obvious because I don't want you to hit it down from there. Bianca asked me if she should start at the net. If she starts at the net, she's just going to flip the racket and send it over. We don't want that. We want her to learn how to catch the ball out in front, Bianca. Okay, don't let it get too close to you. Catch it out in front, racket face slightly open, and just pop it over. You made it, make a step back. So for every ball you get over, you make a step back. Good. Now, as she goes further back, she's going to learn to open the racket a little bit more. Okay, now you hit in, you come forward. Step forward. Good. Go ahead and feel free to push the ball a little bit. Good. Step back. Catch the ball. Good. Now, as you step back, I'm not saying you stay still, all right? You can make a step into the ball and come back to where you started from. Catch the ball. Good. And one more because you're going too far so far. Excellent. Okay, now come back here. Come back here. Let's do the same thing on the backhand side. Bianca, why don't you put your racket behind, your non-dominant hand behind you and just hold the racket like I showed you with the tip pointing up. You have a hammer grip, 90-degree angle between the forearm and the racket. And as I toss the ball, I want you to just pop it up and send it over the net. Do you have a 90-degree over there? Can you cock the wrist? That's it. Come closer. That's it. Okay, we have to make sure we have a 90-degree hanger. Don't let it like that, okay? Keep it up. That's it. Here, let's see how can you push, if you can push the ball over the net. Good, make a step back. So we are developing some strength in the wrist. And Bianca, as you see the ball coming, feel free to push a little bit forward. Okay, you get more power. Okay, so that's in the net. That's how far we can go so far, it looks like. Let's see how far my student can go and still send the ball over the net. Good. So she's going to learn eventually that obviously she has to catch the ball right in the middle of the strings, and as the ball comes, she has to push a little bit to give it a little bit more pop so the ball goes over the net. One more time. Come forward. So it looks like obviously you notice that beginning players, and not only beginning players, they don't have so much strength in the backhand as they would with the forehand. Bianca, I would like you to stay about halfway between service line and the net. Where do you think that would be? And draw a line. Draw a line with your foot. So between service line and the net, is that like halfway? Make one more step forward. Good. So I want my student to be aware, as far as where they are on the court. Bianca, with the left hand or non-dominant hand behind you, I would like you to hold the racket out in front like this. I'll toss one ball to your forehand, one to your backhand. Each one of them, I would like you to push them over, just popping the ball up, holding the racket head up and the continental grip. Here we go. So I'm feeding the ball by racket, you can feed it by, with your hand. It's up to you. Here you go, Bianca. Let's see if you can pop it. Now backhand, turn, that's it. So we're using the same grip. One more time. Let's give our student a chance to hand. That's all right. Forehand, we switch. Forehand, catch the ball. Good, backhand. So push the ball a little bit. That's it, good try. It's normal for players to not feel so much strength in the backhand side as they do. Are you changing grips, Bianca, over there? I see you kind of hopping over there. You're not, okay? So open your racket a little bit and push it. So catch and push, good. Now backhand, let me see. As you see the ball coming, push your racket through the ball. Excellent, that's it, okay? Very good. So these are some drills that you can do for your student to get used to catching the ball and pushing it on both forehand and backhand side using the continental grip, and very important, develop some strength in the wrist, because they need to learn to hold the racket up and not let it drop. Okay, so beginning players, you're going to see that sometimes they have a tendency to hold the racket like this, so the wrist is not that strong. Practicing these drills more often, they will develop the strength, and they will feel more comfortable volleying with a hammer grip. We'll take a short break and we come back with more technical aspects, how to learn and improve the volley. So far we taught our student the basic idea of the volley, which is catching the ball, the grip, keeping the wrist locked at a 90-degree angle, and getting a feel for the ball. And obviously when we volley, we take the ball in the air. Next, let's go ahead and learn the ready position, the preparation, and a little bit of footwork. All right? Simple stuff, but still we have to pay attention to it. Bianca, why don't you go ahead and stay here? You said this is about halfway between the net and the service line, right? I trust you. I'll stay in front of you. Let me go ahead and show you the ready position. When we come up to net, actually, why don't I take your position? You come over here and take a look at me, because I just come up to net. My opponent hit a short ball, I return it, and I find myself ready to volley, okay? This is my ready position. See what I did? I made a split step that got me in balance, and from here I can push off in either direction. It's important that we pay attention to the split step. Split step is more like you make a little hop so that you spread the feet, get the body in balance, okay? Now in order to do that, we want to bend the knees. We have the weight slightly kind of leaning forward. We have the hammer grip with the racket head up. If you notice over here, I have a 90-degree angle, all right? I hold the racket with a loose grip, but again, the wrist should be locked so that the racket stays up at 90-degree angle between the forearm and the grip. You notice my non-dominant hand, my left hand cradles the neck of my racket, okay? The reason I do that, first, I want to kind of to hold some of the weight of my racket so that my hitting hand, which is my right, doesn't get tired holding the racket all the time. So I'm kind of supporting the weight of my racket a little bit with my non-dominant hand. All right, so again, I have a wide base of support, ready position. I hold the racket with a loose grip, racket in front, and you see the edge of my racket is kind of pointing towards my opponent or where the ball is coming from. All right, so this is the ready position. I would like you to come over here to adopt it. Make a split step. That's it. Okay, now see how your racket is kind of a little to the side? That's it. We want the racket out in front. The left hand, the non-dominant, cradles the neck. That's it. So do it with the index and the thumb. Hold it gently. So some of the weight of the racket is supported by your left hand, some of it by your dominant hand. We want the racket up, okay? Up. You look over your racket when you're at the net, and more in front of you. Because let me show you something. Go ahead and step forward. And this is actually the camera can see perfectly what I'm about to explain. Bianca, I would like you to pay attention to. Can you come over here on this side? I want you to notice that my elbows are kind of in front of me, all right? Because when the ball comes, I want to prepare with the racket out in front. I do not want to take a backswing when we volley, all right? So very important to understand that the racket should not pass the line of your shoulder. As you prepare for the volley, you'll see later on that the racket should be set in front and the contact also out in front. But let's go back to the elbows. If the elbows would be right here, tucked in, okay, then when I prepare for the ball, my tendency is going to be for the racket to go back. The same here. If my elbows are too far behind me, when the ball comes to my forehand, you notice probably the camera observes that the racket goes behind me. So I do not want my elbows tucked in when I'm ready position, because then the racket goes behind me and I'll catch the ball late, I lose power, I lose control. In order for me to hit the ball when I volley out in front, I want the elbows in the ready position to be out in front of me. And from here, as I get ready, my racket still stays in front and the contact with the ball should be done out in front. It's very important that the elbows are out in front. Let's go ahead, Bianca. Let's get back in ready position. Do a split step first and racket up. Perfect. Okay, now elbows out. That's it, out in front. All right, so we do not want them here, we want them out in front. Good. We have hammer grip and the tip of and the edge of your racket is pointed towards the incoming ball. Very good. Bianca, from here, let's go ahead. So we have the ready position. Okay, make a split step one more time, racket out in front. Let's learn the footwork for the forehand. As soon as you see the ball coming to your forehand, I would like you to make a tiny step out, load the weight on the outside foot and get the racket set just like we did earlier, okay? Just like when we caught the ball with the hand. Irina, if it's easier for you, you can go on the other side of the net. We'll wait for you. We freeze. Everybody freeze. Good. So let's go back in ready position, Bianca. Make a split step. The ball comes to your forehand. What we're going to do, we're going to step out, and as we step out, we load the weight on the outside foot. We have the 90-degree angle between the forearm and the racket. Racket set to catch the ball, just like we did earlier with when we caught the ball with the hand. So that is how we set. That's how we get ready. Next, as we make contact, as we catch the ball, I want you, Bianca, to bring your outside foot. I'm sorry, your inside foot, this foot, the one that is further from the ball for now. I want you to step in as you catch the ball. See that? As I caught the ball, I didn't swing, I didn't take, I want you to notice that, Bianca. As I step out, I do not take my racket back. The racket stays out in front, okay? The racket should not pass the line of my shoulder, all right, when I get set. Hands are fairly close, and as I step in, I want to catch the ball out in front, and by stepping in, I put the body weight into it, so some of the power on the volley comes from stepping into the shot. All right, Bianca? Great job. So for that, I would like you to practice that. Let's go ahead and practice a few times, and then we'll practice with the balls. Ready? Split step. Good. Step out and get the racket set. Now step in and catch and push the ball. Very, very good. Let me go ahead and feed a few balls for you to practice this motion. By the way, we'll go through this a little faster. You know, you can stay behind me. We'll go through this a little faster, but you will practice with your student a lot more on this. All right, Bianca, let me see how you do that. Split step, step out and get the racket set, and step in and push. Very good. I'll feed some balls. Let's go ahead and practice that. Split, step out, get the racket set, and step in. Good. Try not to hit the camera. You can hit there or there. Or can you hit the camera? No. No. The camera lady said no. Ready? Step out, step in. Good. Can you make a slight step back? This time I would like you to stay about halfway between service line and the net. Further back, Bianca. Further back. You're fine. You're fine. Split. Step out. Get the racket set. Step in as you catch the ball. Good. I would like to see the racket slightly open. Okay. We don't want to flip it. We don't want to swing down. Okay. Split. Step out and get the racket set. Good. So you have a 90-degree angle over there. Now, as you see the ball coming, step in and catch it out in front. Good. Very good. Split. Step out. Step in and catch. Very good. Okay. So as she catches the ball, I want her to step into the shot. Some of the power comes from here. I want you to understand that, Bianca, that the volley is not a power shot. All right. So we don't swing. We just catch the ball and we place it. All right. Good job. Give me 3 more like that. Split, step out, get the racket set, step in. Very good. Split, step out, get the racket set, and as you catch the ball, step into it. Split, step out, and catch. Excellent. Now we'll do the same thing on the backhand side. Again, practice with your student a lot more these kind of drills. Let me set this little mechanism that we have. Bianca, come over here, take my place. On the backhand side, pretty much we have the same technical aspects. Split step, we step out, so we load the foot that is closer to the incoming ball. We get the racket set. Again, we have a 90-degree angle. See the racket face is kind of slightly pointing up and the tip up too. Now, as I get set and loaded on this foot, I want to remind you again that the racket should not pass the line of your shoulder. So if I would have a, how can I say, the back shoulder, if I would have a line that goes behind me, or if I would stay with my back against the fence, the racket should not touch the fence. So keep the racket in front of you. One more time, split, step out, get the racket set for the incoming ball. From here, Bianca, and whoever's watching, I want to point out the back elbow, okay? Now, beginning players will be tempted to keep the elbow tucked. What happens if they do that, they will prepare with the racket face too open, and then they will hit it with the frame, or God knows whatever happens. But anyhow, I want the elbow to be kind of pointed towards the back fence. So the back elbow should be pointed to the back fence. That sets the racket slightly open instead of way too open. You see what happens? You see the difference? So if the elbow is tucked or low, the racket opens too much. So I want the back elbow to be pointed towards the back fence. And next, from here, as you see the ball coming, just like we did earlier, I want you to step with the opposite foot and push the ball a little bit. One more time, we have no backswing, the racket gets set, and just push the ball, and right after you make contact, you just stop. All right, Bianca? So we have no follow through. This is another aspect that beginning players do. They will have a tendency to follow through and drop the racket, okay? If you remind them to just push the ball, they will not do that, okay? So just tell them to get set, and as they step in, just catch and push. Just emphasize the push, because when they do that, they will just push it and they will not swing. Bianca, come over here, please. Let's do this together. Split, backhand, step out, get the racket set, okay? Now, freeze right over there. I want to see. You see Bianca learn her lesson. The back elbow is pointed towards the back fence. She has a 90-degree angle over here. The weight is loaded on the outside foot. Now, one thing I forgot to mention is that as we step forward to meet the ball, these two hands will separate, just like we shoot an arrow. Bianca, step in and punch or push and separate the hands. That's it, okay? One more time. Split, step out. Now step in and separate the hands as you push forward, okay? This is one exercise that might take more practice, but those are the technical elements that you as a coach or a parent should be focusing on. Bianca, show me the backhand. Step out, get the racket set. Step in, good try. Split, step out. Good. Okay, so I want you to push. Okay, Bianca took a little longer swing. I'm going to remind Bianca to just catch and push. Okay, Bianca? Split, step out. That's it. Split, step out. So the weight is loaded on the outside foot. The back elbow is pointed towards the back fence. Now you're going to catch and push, Bianca. Go for it. Good. Very good. Keep it simple. Focus on these technical elements. Split, step out, step in, and catch. Good. So you she hit it with the frame a little bit. Go ahead and move the ball away. Split, step out. Okay, make sure the racket doesn't pass your shoulder. Now step and catch. Good. So you see that she just pushed the ball. She didn't swing. Split, step out, catch and push. Good. Now Bianca will do the same thing on both forehand and backhand. To wrap up this lesson, I would like you to hit one forehand, one backhand, listening to my commands, okay? Irina can stay behind her so you can see both strokes. Bianca, by the way, at this stage, I'm feeding, I would say, from about halfway between the service line and the net. So I just want gentle feed. We still have to work on the volley. We'll work on more on this more next lesson. But right now, just focusing on the technical aspects and a little bit of footwork. Bianca, ready position, split. Good. Step out, forehand. Step in and catch. Good. Backhand, split. Step out. Racket stays out in front. Catch. Good. You notice I'm using cues like catch or push. Catch. Very good. So in this way, she's not going to swing. Step out. Catch. Good. Couple more. Split. Step out. Get the racket set. Catch and push. Very good. Split. Step out. Catch and push. Excellent. Good job. So Bianca learned just by catching the ball and pushing it, she learned that she's not allowed to swing. All right. When we volley, we don't swing. There's actually a stroke called the drive volley where we can swing, but that looks more like a forehand, and then you can swing. But for these ones, for the volley, to keep it simple, like I said, it's very important to understand that when we are at the net, we are closer to our opponent, the ball comes faster, and we don't have time to change grip. That's why we are using the continental or hammer grip. All right, so we learn to hit both the forehand and the backhand using only one grip, so we don't have to change. And because the ball comes faster. But by the way, do you realize that if we were on the baseline, when the ball comes from our opponent, first it bounces on the ground, and because of that friction with the ground, the ball slows down. So when we are on the baseline, we get a slower ball than when we were at the net. So the ball that counts when we are at the net, it doesn't bounce, doesn't slow down, so we get a faster ball. So that's why we don't have time to take the racket back. We think more like blocking or catching the ball when we are at the net. So that's why we learned that there's no backswing, there's no follow through. Think about this: if there was a backswing, a faster ball, we would catch it late. We wouldn't have control. And also, if we would follow through, by the time we bring the racket back in ready position, the ball is coming back to us. So we don't have time to make too many elements when we hit a volley. That's why we have to keep everything simple. We get the racket set, we punch, and we get ready. We punch or just push. We push and get ready. We push and get ready. So everything has to be short, abbreviated when we are at the net. That's the kind of volley that we learned today, to help you feel confident when you play at the net. All right? Good job, Bianca. We'll stop over here. We'll practice more next time. Go ahead and sit down. Kitty, nice kitty. She's very proud of this t-shirt. Good. So that was our volley lesson. We'll practice more next time. All right, that was our lesson for today. I'll see you next time. Thank you for watching.